Welcome to Home with the Halsteads. Today I'm going to show you how to make a chocolate fudge pie. Now this chocolate fudge pie is one of my favorites because it satisfies a couple of cravings that I have quite often. The first one is that for chocolate fudge. I love chocolate fudge, and I also love pecan pie, and this has pecans in it. And it's similar to a chocolate pecan pie, but it's chocolate fudge pie. And I'm going to show you how I make it, and it's oh so delicious. First of all, I'm going to tell you the ingredients that I use, and then we'll put it together and I'll show you how I do that. It calls for a stick of butter. It calls for 1/4 of a cup of cocoa, 2 eggs, a cup of sugar, 1/4 of a cup of sifted flour, and I'm using self-rising flour, and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and last but not least, a cup of pecans. And today I'm going to be using a pre-made frozen pie crust, which I use so often because I just don't take the time or have the time to make a homemade crust. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to step over to the stove and I'm going to begin the process of putting this pie together by melting my butter. And when I get the butter melted, then I'll come back and I'll show you how we're going to put the pie together. I've already preheated the oven to 350, and I'll give you the rest of the instructions for baking it once I melt the butter. See you in a minute. Okay, let's put the pie together. I've already melted our butter, as I said I would do. And then next, I'm going to add the cocoa, 1/4 of a cup of cocoa. Just kind of blend that around using a whisk. And to that, I'm going to add a cup of sugar. Stir that around. This is so incredibly easy. It's fast, it's simple, and it's delicious. Okay. So next, I'm going to go ahead and add my flour, 1/4 of a cup of sifted flour. Just stirring that around, mixing it all together really, really well. Getting it off of the edges. And then I'm going to add my eggs. I've already cracked one of the eggs while the butter was melting. I cracked one of the eggs, and now I'll crack the other one, making sure that there are no shells. And we'll just mix that up with the whisk, making sure that all of the white and the egg yolk is well blended into the chocolate. See how easy this is? Honest to goodness, and I just love it because you love simple and easy things just like I do. This is one of those recipes and dishes that you're going to want to make sure that you share with your friends so that they'll know how to make it as well. And then I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. You know what? I love vanilla so much. It calls for 1/2. I'm just going to add a teaspoon. In my opinion, you can't get too much vanilla. Okay, and we're going to stir that around. And it's all blended. Now we're going to add our pecans. And I'm going to mix that with a spoon so that my pecans don't get all tangled up in my whisk. I'm going to set this aside so I'll have more room. I'm just going to stir this around. That looks like fudge, doesn't it? It looks like fudge with pecans. That's why it's called chocolate fudge pie. And it's that simple. just that simple. So now we're ready to pour it into the pie crust. When I pour a pie into the pie crust, a lot of times just the filling will kind of settle in the bottom, and then if you aren't careful, it'll wind up in the middle of your pie. So I try to spread it out so that the pecans will be evenly spread within the pie. I'm just going to scrape this out really well. I don't want to leave anything in there. It's too good. It's too good to leave it in there. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. And that's all there is to it. Here's our chocolate fudge pie that's ready to go in the oven. And I'm going to cook it for 25 to 30 minutes. And then I'm going to take it out, let it cool, and put it in the refrigerator overnight. Once it's cooled and been in the refrigerator overnight, then you can slice it and top it with ice cream or whipped cream with a cherry and shaved chocolate. Yum! Don't you know how good this is going to be? So now I'm going to pop it in the oven, and when it gets done, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, y'all, I've taken our pie out of the oven, and you can see that it is done. We're going to let it cool, let it refrigerate overnight, and then I'm going to serve it with whipped cream or ice cream topped with a cherry and some chocolate shavings. As always, thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen today. I hope that you have enjoyed watching me make this chocolate fudge pie, and I hope that you'll try one really, really soon. Don't forget to share with your friends this recipe, and I will see you again really, really soon. Be safe out there.